Find the turning point of y equals x squared plus 4x minus 3 by completing the square. On a graph, the turning points are the points where the graph completely changed direction. So you're looking for points that are similar to this point and this point where the graph completely changes direction from going upwards to downwards or going downwards to upwards. So the graph in this question starts with an x squared, or the highest power of x is 2. So we know that it must look like something like this. And since the coefficient of x squared is positive, we know that it opens upwards like this. And the turning point of this graph would be here. That's the same as the minimum point of the graph. And we can find the minimum point by completing the square. If we look at the equation, we have x squared plus 4x. This means that we need to turn this into some form of x plus 4 divided by 2, which is 2 squared. If I expand the brackets, x plus 2 to the power of 2 is the same as x squared plus 4x plus 4. Notice that we already have the x squared plus 4x part right here. But we don't have a plus 4. So we need to turn the original equation so that it has a plus 4 so that we can turn it into an x plus 2 to the power of 2. If we start with y equals x squared plus 4x minus 3. If we add 7, this should turn the minus 3 into a plus 4. So we need to add 7 to both sides. The left-hand side turns into y plus 7. And on the right-hand side, we have x squared plus 4x plus 4, which we know is equal to x plus 2 to the power of 2. So we have y plus 7 equals x plus 2 to the power of 2. We need to rearrange this so that it's y equals something. So we need to remove the plus 7 on the left hand side to the right hand side. So if we minus 7 here and minus 7 here, on the left hand side, plus 7 and minus 7 equals 0. So we're left with y equals x plus 2 to the power of 2 minus 7, which is the completed square form. So now that we've rewritten the equation in this term, we want to find the minimum point of the graph. And if you notice, we have something squared minus 7. Something squared over here will always be positive because a negative number squared will still be positive. Therefore, the smallest value that this expression could be is when the value of the square, or the value inside here, is equal to 0, so that it's 0 minus 7. If whatever is inside the bracket isn't equal to 0, this means that it will have some value, and it will turn our expression into something minus 7, and something positive minus 7 too. So the minimum value it could be is this, 0 minus 7. So we want to solve for when the bracket, or when the inside of the bracket is equal to 0. So that's x plus 2 equals 0, and that happens when x equals minus 2. And when x equals minus 2, the bracket becomes 0. So our y value is minus 7. So the turning point, or the minimum point of the graph, is at minus 2, minus 7. You can also remember it as after you complete the square. The x value is the opposite of the sign here. So if we have an x plus 2, that means x equals minus 2, and our y value is just here. Another way that we can complete the square is by turning the x squared plus 4x part into x plus 2 squared right away. And we need to minus 4 there, or to minus this 4 away, because that's what we did not have at the beginning. So if we minus 4 away from it, we're keeping the value the same. x squared plus 4x is equal to x plus 2 to the power of 2 minus 4, and the minus 3 is still there. And then we simplify it, so we have y equals x plus 2 to the power of 2 minus 4 minus 3 is minus 7, and that gets you the same thing. So the minimum point, or the turning point, is at, we switch the sign for whatever is inside the bracket at x equals minus 2 and y equals minus 7.